Hey guys, welcome back to 5nothing100nothing.com. I am Fugget, and that stands for the fittest underdog guru using intelligent tactics. Okay guys, today is part 4 of how to publish your book. Alright, so let's start off with this, right? I was going to actually talk about organizing your chapters, but I thought it might be a bit redundant because the truth is, if you've written a book, okay, and you've got all this content down, chances are you're somewhat of an expert on this topic that you're speaking of. So I'm going to assume that you've either read books before, or you have an own or have at some point consumed this content in some way, shape, or form from other authors. Okay, so if you haven't done that, I highly recommend you do that. But if you're not going to do that and you're just going to blaze your own trail, then blaze your own trail. But depending on the book, the type of book you've written, there are those that have come before you and have organized their books in such a way that they've been published. So pay attention to that and also mirror those things that they've done if you're completely lost on it. And if you want to blaze your own trail and do something a little different, more power to you. I say go for it. Okay, so the first thing, I'm going to give you 10 tips, okay? The first thing you're going to want to do, now this is whether either if you send your book to an editor or if you're just getting your manuscript ready to send off to either one of the two self-publishing houses I recommend, which is either Lulu Publishing or Create Space. Now, both are good. I like both of them and I've used both of them, but Create Space is actually a sister company for Amazon. So your book will instantly be available on Amazon. Not to say that if you use Lulu Publishing that you're not going to get it on there, but you can get it on either one, either platform. So I recommend that you go on either Lulu Publishing or CreateSpace.com and play with their software a little bit and see which one you're more comfortable with, which one seems more intuitive, and you can't go wrong with either one because they'll both be available on Amazon, which is what you want to use as your vehicle to sell your book. Okay, the first thing is use black 12-point font that's in Times New Roman. Now, the reason I say that is that basically it's essential and it's on every computer. So no matter what software they're using, they're going to be able to translate it. If you start getting real cutesy and using crazy font that some of the letters aren't easily legible, you're going to run into problems. Or if they're using software that doesn't have your particular font style. Okay, so if you want to do your research, you can, but if you want to make it easy, just use Times New Roman, and that's the easiest way. Okay, number 2, use the US standard page size of 8x5x11, okay? And set your margins to 1 inch on all sides, okay? When you do that, it's going to look neat, clean, keep it simple, and you're going to have no problems with that. So find that in Word and set those margins to such. Okay, number 3, set your alignment to left justified, okay? Set the alignment to left justified. That'll make it a lot easier as well. And you basically want to, that's how you set the alignment in Word, and it just makes it a lot easier to read, and it's very neat and clean because when you put the binding on, once they do, whether you're doing a hardcover or soft cover, you got to take into consideration what you see on a Word document isn't necessarily how it's going to look on the page, because there's going to be that indentation because of the glue or binding that's put on the book. So it's not going to look like it's completely over to the other side of the page. That's what you see when you open a book, but take into consideration that binding part. Okay. Number 4, use a single space after periods. Okay. Now, I know that whenever you learned how to type, they always taught you to double space, but retrain yourself. In the digital age, we use the single spaces. The 5th tip is use double space line spacing, okay? This will be of great help, especially if you're sending it to an editor. It'll make it a lot easier for them, and it's just proper formatting. The sixth tip, indent all your paragraphs by 1/2 inch or 0.5. And when you do that, don't just hit the tab or space to indent, okay? So indent all your paragraphs to 0.5 and you're going to be in good shape. So you can do that when you're in Word by going to Format and then Paragraph, and then it's under Indentation, and then it's by the left, type 0.5, and it's under the Special part. It says Special. Then choose First Line from the drop-down menu. Seventh tip, format paragraphs according to the genre standard. So like I said before, when it came to organizing your chapters, follow what the genre generally looks for, okay, for the book you've written, and that'll give you, you know, the tips that you need to make it right for you. So check out the paragraphing conventions and then emulate those. That makes it the simplest. Your eighth tip, use page breaks, okay? I made this mistake and it cost me a lot of time, and I could not figure out that, like, let's say you get to the end of a page and you are going to type in you know, the next page, but you see that you want to start it on the next page. A lot of times people just space or you know, hit return or enter to get down to the next page. That's a huge mistake. When you hit page break, it immediately goes to the next page. So it knows that that goes on another page, because if anything changes with formatting or anything else you're doing, it's going to throw everything off. Where you see this is whenever the book is final, and then you're looking at the chapters, and all of a sudden when you see it all done and you're ready to send this Word document off to your editor or to the publisher, and all of a sudden, you know, your chapter 8 might be halfway down on another page, and then you have content from the last chapter, say chapter 7. If you're going into chapter 8, you'll see chapter 7 content at the top of a full page where you want that chapter to really stand out for strong as the chapter page. So use those page breaks. That's going to be a huge time saver. All right. Number 9, number your pages. Okay. Don't begin by numbering the title page. What you want to do is begin numbering when your story begins. So you'll have a title page, copyright page, etc. Don't do that. Whenever you have chapter 1, boom, start there if there's text on that first page. Okay, so where that story begins, boom, that's page 1. Okay, and then the last tip for this video is send your manuscript as one Word document. So it can be in DOC dot or DOCX. One of those two is going to make it really easy. You don't want to send chapter by chapter either to the editor or to the publisher. See, when you send it to a publisher like Lulu or to CreateSpace, they're not going to edit anything. They're just going to see that everything like checks out, that the file doesn't have any viruses, that it's in one Word document, and then they're basically going to publish and then send you that that copy of the book. So, you know, as your draft copy, so you can assess it and see if it's ready to go to print and to be released. So follow those tips, you guys. I know it's a lot of information, but once you have that book written and everything, this is the stuff that's not fun for the creative types, for the types that want to get their message out. But you can either pay somebody to do this for you, or if you're doing it on a shoestring budget and you're using, you know, money as an excuse not to get published, you're going to have to do a little bit of grunt work on your own. And when you do that, when you follow these tips, it's going to save you a lot of time. You can do it. It's just a matter of sitting down with Word, figuring it out, getting it formatted correctly, because you want it to look professional. You want to sell a lot of copies. You want to, you know, go on your book tours. You want to just, you know, go crazy and then have your royalty checks coming in every quarter or every month or what have you. So follow those 10 tips, you guys. Next video, part 5, we're going to get into book cover design, and that's a fun one. Once you have everything done, again, remember, you haven't sent this book yet. It's still in your possession. But we're getting the manuscript, we're getting it all ready. We still have book cover design, etc. So stay tuned, you guys. Hope you got a lot of good information out of that. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, ask some questions, whatever, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.